We're back with Tom Sullivan. Here is Carrie on the toll-free in Chicago. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I just wanted to say I really like your show. I've been
Thank you.
watching
Thank you.
since the beginning. And I wanted to ask Tom, I am a teacher, and I've been in situations where I've had, for example, a room full of first graders and one Down syndrome child. And I found it almost impossible to be able to teach all of them at the same time. It was very distracting. And so I wanted to know what advice you had for a teacher of mainstream classroom with one or two special children.
Carrie, this is one of the, I'm so glad you brought it up, because this is one of the great issues now with inclusion. Under the law, it indicates that children are to be educated in the least restrictive environment, which means
Right.
the parent can fight the battle, and win and put the child in the system. That has nothing to do with whether or not Carrie, the teacher, can identify this child's needs and solve the independent education plan that the school gives you for this child. But I will give you the best hint I can give you. First, teach the strengths of the child. Don't drill and skill the child. Find the strengths of the child and teach the strengths. Second idea that maybe is very useful is find the way to create interaction between this child and your class based on common interest. And frame the child's educational approach based on this common interest.
Yeah, let me ask Carrie if she's been able to spot any common interests in this child and the rest of the class population.
Well, the situation at the time was very difficult because, as I say, they were first graders.
Sure.
And this was a 6-year-old Down syndrome child who was having difficulty just communicating on a normal level, not
Right.
to speak of discussing common interests.
Right, I understand.
So it was kind of hard.
You sound passionate about teaching, Carrie, and that's where it has to start.
Yeah. Well, it's in my particular situation, it was difficult because I was a resource teacher. I'm a Spanish teacher, and so it's not like English or math or something else where they just have to have it, and it makes it a little more difficult. But you know, any advice you can get is always appreciated.
Well,
Carrie, we're glad you called. Thanks for watching.
Thanks very much.
All right, bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
You know, I remember the day that we played golf together over at the Bel Air Golf Club, and you birdied the 18th hole.
that long par 4,
Yep,
uphill,
yep,
dog
and-
leg right.
Yeah, and I...
Driver 5 iron. You hated me.
It was a 4-iron.
What are numbers when you do a show like this?
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Well, when you do a show like this, you'd be surprised what numbers mean.
Yeah,
you know,
that's right.
Boy, if I could hear the number 4 here, we're out of here.
Yeah.
You know, pay Dave the ransom and go home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand.
Anyway, I wondered at the time, and I asked you about this in a subsequent program, but I want to ask you again because I loved your answer. You know, so much of the reward of golf is the visual sighting of the ball as it arcs over the trap, guarding the front of the green 214 yards away, lands softly on the gently sloping green and nestles next to the cup. You see, the seeing of that is such gratification. What is the gratification in golf for you? Because you can't see what you're doing.
Taking the money from the people who are stupid enough to bet it at the end.
Yeah,
Like Snyder.
we could give you a 1 and you'd never know.
I've got that 20 now. No, Tom, honestly, you've asked a great question because it really is about sensorial things. The feel of the shot, the sound of the ball in the air, the crispness of the walk down that fairway when you can sense that you flew the ball on that arc. When I walk on a green, I can feel the roll pitch of that green better than most people can see it to putt. The flow of the putter when you roll the ball down the hill and the sound is... You know what this really comes down to? My world is a terrific balance of sensory awareness. And there's a joy in living largely caused, frankly, because of mothers like yours and mine. My mother is up back in Boston. I want you to know, Mother and your friends, that this book was written in tribute to you. Much like Tom, I would not have the life I have, Mother, if you hadn't made it possible back there in Boston.
Let me ask you how much of your life is in your mind's eye and how much of your life is imagination?
There's nothing like a blind person's fantasies.
Okay, so when you look at
because I don't see ugly.
You've known me for 20 years and more.
Yes.
When you look at me, what do you see?
A guy with a presence larger than life, frankly, but a heart that's always empathetic to others, Tom. And that's your best gift. Your best gift is your ability to present accurately and with enthusiasm, but to always feel it here. That's why guests like you.
What does a Christmas tree look like to you?
It's more what it smells like.
Oh, okay.
Although I love the different kinds of pine to touch, from hanging spruce to a Colorado pine where the needles stick out straight.
You know what's really interesting about your life is that every drama in your life you're listening to on the radio, and you are creating as it goes the pictures of exactly how you want it to look. And that's neat.
I've never met an ugly person unless they wanted to be. And I've enjoyed a world that gives people time to have dimension. And that's the best part of it. The best part of it is that I frame it around human quality events rather than around people's, I don't know, misguided sense of what's appropriate.
I wish that I could see what you hear. Thanks for coming on tonight, Tom. It's always a pleasure to be in your company, and thank you, Pal Nelson, for us, too.
I will. Thank you.
Tom Sullivan, folks. It's called Special Parent, Special Child. Back after these messages.